The Whiskey Rebellion by Jason Luciani. 11 years ago, the American Revolution ended, and now the Whiskey Rebellion has begun. Early 1791, farmers in western Pennsylvania are uprising to the matter of the new tax on whiskey. The whiskey tax began when Treasury Secretary Alexander Hamilton knew in order to create a self-supporting and effective government, he needed to find a steady source of revenue. In 1791, Alexander Hamilton proposed the tax to Congress. The single article of ardent spirits under federal regulation might be made to furnish a considerable revenue. Upon a ration to the importation into the state, the whole quantity imported into the United States may be estimated at 4 million gallons, which at $1 per gallon would produce 200,000 pounds. That article would well bear this rate of duty, and it would tend to diminish the consumption of it. Such an effect would be equally favorable to agriculture, to the economy, to the morals, and to the health of the society. There is perhaps nothing so much subject of national extravagance as these spirits. Congress then passed the whiskey tax in late 1791. The excess tax set a varying 6 to 18 cents per gallon tax rate, with smaller distills often paying more than twice per gallon what larger producers paid. All payments had to be made in cash and to the tax collector appointed for the distiller's country. Western farmers got hit with this tax the most. This is because, unlike Eastern farmers, who can easily transport grain to the market near the Pacific Ocean, Western farmers had to transport their grain over the Appalachian Mountains and along poor dirt roads. Since this was of great difficulty, many Western farmers transported their grain in whiskey. Because of the new tax on whiskey, Congress is taxing Western farmers' main crop. So in response, Western farmers proved hostile. Farmers went after tax collector Neville. Neville got a small squad of federal soldiers to protect himself. The rebel leader, James McCracken, led the attack, but in the end, he was the one who lied dead. The rebels burnt down Neville's house, and David Branford took over the rebel army. On August 2nd, George Washington met with his cabinet and Thomas Milton to discuss what they were going to do. If the laws were to be so trampled upon with impunity and minority is to dictate the majority, there is an end put at one stroke to the Republican government. For some other man or society may dislike another law and oppose it with equal priority until all laws are prosperous and everyone can carve for himself. Alexander Hamilton then wrote to Thomas Milton that with Washington's approval, he was going to charge at the rebellion. The intelligence received from western counties of Pennsylvania, which comes down to the 13th instinct, and announces as far as it was then known the result of the meeting of the people in several townships and districts to express their sense on the question of submission or resistance to the laws, which it shows a great proportion of the inhabitants of those counties disposed to pursue the path of duty. Shows also that there is a large violent party which can only be controlled by the application of force. This being the result, it has become the more indispensable and urgent to press forward the forces destined to act against the insurgents with all possible activity and energy. The advanced seasons leaves no time to spare, and it is extremely important to afford speedy protection to the well-disposed and to prevent the preparation and accumulation of the greater means of resistance and the extension of combination to abet the insurrection. The President counts upon every effort on your part, which is so serious and eventful and emergency demands. With perfect respect, I have honor to be, Sir, your obedient servant, Alexander Hamilton. Almost 13,000 militiamen had gathered in Carlisle, Pennsylvania, to prepare to march west to end the rebellion. George Washington personally led his troops into the battle, but he wouldn't let a small portion of the United States to dictate the whole, so he left his troops in the hands of General Lee and Treasury Alexander Hamilton. By late October, the militia entered western Pennsylvania to locate the rebels. They arrested 150 rebels, and the rest fled from the scene. By 1802, Congress finally repealed the tax on whiskey.